something today, it's really good to figure out where our multiplication took us in the first place. Because when we factor, we're going to get back to an answer like this, x minus 5 times x plus 4. But we're going to start with the product of these. So if you remember, when we learned how to multiply these, we did something called FOIL. And F stood for the two first terms. X times x gave me x squared. And then the O part of FOIL was the two outside things. The x times this plus 4 gave me a plus 4x. And I stood for the two inside terms, so negative 5 times x gives me the minus 5x. And then last but certainly not least is L for last. Negative 5 times positive 4 gave me negative 20. Once I finished with that, I went and I looked for any like terms, and I found negative 4x plus 5x. So my final answer was x squared minus 1x, which I would just write as minus x, minus 20. We're reversing this process today. We're starting with a problem of x squared minus x minus 20 and factoring it back apart into x minus 5 times x plus 4. Now I very deliberately put these little brackets down below. Notice that the x squared just came from the x times the x. The negative 20 came from these two constants multiplied together. But this minus 1x in the middle was actually a combination of two different things. It was the inside part of the multiplication, the negative 5 times the x to get negative 5x, and the outside, the x times the positive 4 to get plus 4x, to combine to give me the minus 1x. So when we're starting with x squared minus 1x minus 20, and we want to factor that, we know that the two things at the beginning of each of the sets of parentheses need to give me the x squared. So the way I get x squared is an x times an x. The two constants that I put in these parentheses need to multiply to give me the constant of negative 20. The problem is, I know the answer because I just got from her from the other direction, but I don't always know the answer off the top of my head. So what you need to do is to go out to the side and think about all of the things that you could multiply together, all the pairs of numbers you could multiply to get negative 20. List these in order. Always start with 1. To get a negative, I would have to have a positive times a negative, so positive 1 times negative 20, or it could also have been negative 1 times positive 20. Also, I could have multiplied by 2, because I always go from 1 to 2. 2 times negative 10, negative 2 times positive 10. 3 doesn't go into 20 evenly. 4 does, though. 4 times negative 5, negative 4 times positive 5. Now, any of these combinations, let's say I put the plus 1 and the minus 20 in here. When I FOILed this out, I would get my x squared back again. The outside part, though, would give me a minus 20x. The inside part would give me a plus 1x. And then the last part would give me a minus 20. So I would get the x squared again. I would get the minus 20. But when I combined these two middle terms, I would have a minus 19x. But it says it should be a minus 1x, not a minus 19x. So while the plus 1 and the minus 20 will give me the first and last terms I'm looking for, they won't give me that middle term that I need. So on the ones you're doing right now, the good thing is that there's kind of a shortcut, and this only works when this is a 1x squared. And that is, I look for the pair that adds to give me the negative 1 coefficient I'm looking for. So that's the 4 and the negative 5. X plus 4 times x minus 5 should do the trick. This is your answer, and this is the part that you need to circle. However, you're also required today to show me your check to make sure you do get this minus 1x in the middle. So the inside part of FOIL, this positive 4 times the 1x, gives me a positive 4x. The outside part of FOIL, the x times the negative 5, gives me a minus 5x. When I add those together to combine like terms, I end up with a negative 1x, which is what I need for my middle term. So I'm going to list out, first of all, I'm going to start my parentheses. I need x and x, so that when I multiply those, I could get my x squared. My factor pairs of negative 18 always start with 1. 1 times negative 18, or negative 1 times positive 18. 2 times negative 9, negative 2 times positive 9. 3 works. 3 times negative 6, negative 3 times positive 6. 4 won't go into 18 evenly. 5 won't. 6 will, but I already have that listed, so these are all my pairs. I need a middle coefficient of my x of negative 3. 3 and negative 6 would give me negative 3. So x plus 3 times x minus 6. Circle this because it's my answer, but show the check. The inside part of FOIL, that positive 3 times the x, would give me the plus 3x. The outside part of FOIL, x times negative 6, would give me a minus 6x. Combining those together would give me the minus 3x that I need for that middle term. All of the ones that you are going to solve by factoring, before you get into these parentheses, it will always be a 1x squared, so these will always start with x and x. Factor pairs of positive 12. Well, I could take positive 1 times positive 12, but I can also multiply two negatives together to get a positive. So negative 1 times negative 12. Positive 2 times positive 6. Negative 2 times negative 6. 3 goes in there. 3 times 4. Negative 3 times negative 4. And again, 4 would work, but I already have it listed. I'm looking for these to add to positive 8. So this is the pair that I will use. X plus 2 times x plus 6. Circle this because it's my answer, but I need to show the check. The inside part of FOIL, the positive 2 times the x, would give me plus 2x. The outside part of FOIL, the x times the positive 6, would give me plus 6x. When I add those together, that's the plus 8x that I needed for my middle term. And the last one, to get x squared, I would have to have x times x. Factor pairs of positive 8, positive 1 times 8, negative 1 times negative 8, positive 2 times 4, negative 2 times negative 4. 3 isn't a factor of 8. 4 is, but again, we already have it listed, so these are our pairs. I want this to add to negative 6. So negative 2 and negative 4 should do the trick. X minus 2 and x minus 4. There are no parentheses in these. These are not ordered pairs. If you put the parentheses in, it's incorrect. Now, to show my check, the inside part, negative 2 times x, would give me a negative 2x. X times negative 4 would give me a negative 4x. The combination is that minus 6x middle term that I'm looking for.